Imagine a world where giants ruled the land, where every step could shake the ground, and survival depended on claws, armor, horns, or sheer speed. From bizarre-looking creatures with scythe-like claws to unstoppable armored tanks, and from swift pack hunters to the king of predators himself. Today, we're diving into the weirdest and deadliest dinosaurs that ever walked the earth. Get ready, because prehistory was stranger, scarier, and more powerful than you could ever imagine. What if the scariest dinosaur wasn't the one with the biggest teeth, but the one with claws longer than swords? Picture this, a towering feathered giant moving through the forests of Cretaceous Asia with 3 massive scythe-like claws, each over 3 feet long. Not a monster from a nightmare, this was Therizinosaurus, one of the strangest and most terrifying dinosaurs to ever live. Therizinosaurus was no ordinary dinosaur. It stood up to 20 feet tall as a giraffe, with a pot-bellied body and long, feathered arms. But what made it infamous weren't its size or feathers. It was the claws. Imagine 3 hooked blades at the end of each arm, each longer than a samurai sword. These claws weren't just for display. They were weapons. Here's the twist. Therizinosaurus wasn't a carnivore. It likely fed on plants, ripping down branches and stripping leaves. But that didn't make it harmless. Those claws could tear apart anything that threatened it. Raptors, small tyrannosaurs, even massive predators like Tarbosaurus. One swipe could disembowel an attacker. In the world of the Cretaceous, Therizinosaurus was less hunter, more terrifying guardian with knives for hands. Imagine wandering through a Cretaceous forest. The ground shakes, branches sway, and then it appears. A towering, feathered shape, claws glinting in the sunlight. To smaller dinosaurs, this wasn't a peaceful plant eater. It was a walking nightmare. And to humans today, it's one of the most alien-looking dinosaurs ever discovered. Like many of its Cretaceous cousins, Therizinosaurus disappeared 66 million years ago when the asteroid struck. Its forests burned, ecosystems collapsed, and the blade-handed giant was lost to time. But its fossils, those enormous claws, remained to tell the story. Even today, when paleontologists hold them, they look more like weapons forged for war than tools of nature. Therizinosaurus has earned a spot in modern culture, most recently in Jurassic World Dominion, where it took down the mighty Giganotosaurus. Sure, Hollywood exaggerates, but the truth is just as chilling. Therizinosaurus didn't need sharp teeth to be terrifying. It proved that sometimes the most bizarre designs are also the most effective. So, was Therizinosaurus a predator? Not exactly. But was it terrifying? Absolutely. The Freddy Krueger of the dinosaur world, with claws that could end you in a single strike. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to face a dinosaur that wasn't built to chase, but to survive? Imagine walking through a primeval forest, hearing the low rumble of something massive ahead. Not a predator, but a living fortress, covered in armor, armed with a weapon so brutal it could crush bone in a single swing. This was Ankylosaurus, the walking tank of the Cretaceous. Ankylosaurus wasn't fast. It didn't have razor teeth or towering size, but what it did have was armor unlike anything else on Earth. Its body was covered in thick, bony plates called osteoderms, some the size of dinner plates, forming a natural shield against predators like Tyrannosaurus rex. Even its eyelids were protected by bone. To any predator, Ankylosaurus wasn't prey, it was a problem. At over 25 feet long and weighing more than 4 tons, this dinosaur was essentially a living tank. Moving low and steady, its bulk and armor turned it into a fortress on legs. But Ankylosaurus wasn't just a passive defender. At the end of its tail was a weapon unlike anything else in the dinosaur world, a massive bony club, hardened through evolution into a wrecking ball. With one swing, Ankylosaurus could shatter bones, crush ribs, or even break the leg of a charging predator. Paleontologists believe a single strike from that tail could snap the ankle of a T-Rex, instantly turning the hunter into the hunted. This tail wasn't just for show, it was a survival tool, honed to perfection by millions of years of evolution. Ankylosaurus lived in the late Cretaceous, a time when North America was home to some of the most famous dinosaurs ever: Triceratops, Pachycephalosaurus, and of course Tyrannosaurus rex. In this world of giants, most dinosaurs relied on speed, horns, or sharp teeth. But Ankylosaurus relied on patience, armor, and raw strength. It didn't need to run. It didn't need to roar. Its message was simple: come closer and you'll regret it. Even apex predators often passed it by, knowing a single mistake could cost them dearly. But even the strongest defenses can't protect against the end of the world. 66 million years ago, an asteroid struck Earth, throwing fire and ash into the skies. Plants died, ecosystems collapsed, and soon the armored titans of the Cretaceous fell silent. Ankylosaurus, the tank that could stop a T-Rex, could not stop extinction. Today, Ankylosaurus lives on through fossils, massive skeletons discovered in North America. Its bones tell a story of survival, resilience, and raw defensive power. To paleontologists, it's a reminder that evolution doesn't just reward speed and ferocity. It also rewards patience, armor, and unshakable strength. And while Hollywood often glorifies the predators, the truth is this: sometimes the most fascinating creatures are not the hunters, but the survivors. So next time you think about dinosaurs, remember Ankylosaurus, the walking tank, built like a fortress, armed like a warrior, and living proof that sometimes the best way to fight is to endure. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to encounter a dinosaur that looks more like a riddle than a predator? Imagine the sun blazing over Jurassic Plains, and there it stands, an armored beast with plates rising from its back like a row of jagged sails, and a tail tipped with 4 deadly spikes, swinging like a medieval weapon. This was Stegosaurus, a creature that left behind more questions than answers. Stegosaurus lived about 150 million years ago in what is now North America. Stretching up to 30 feet long and weighing around 5 tons, it wasn't the biggest dinosaur, but it was certainly one of the strangest. Its most striking feature: the 2 rows of giant bony plates that lined its back. Some were over 2 feet tall. But what were they for? Defense, display, or a way to control body temperature? Scientists still debate this today. Whatever the purpose, those plates made Stegosaurus look like a walking fortress. If the plates didn't scare off predators, its tail certainly did. Nicknamed the Thagomizer, a word that actually came from a cartoon, it carried 4 massive spikes, each up to 3 feet long. This wasn't decoration. Fossil evidence shows broken bones on predators like Allosaurus, likely caused by a devastating swing from that spiked tail. One strike could pierce deep into flesh or even snap a predator's bones. To a Jurassic hunter, messing with Stegosaurus meant gambling with your life. Here's the strangest part. Stegosaurus had one of the smallest brains compared to its body size. Its brain was about the size of a walnut, barely 3 ounces for a 5-ton animal. For years, scientists even speculated it had a second brain near its hips to help control its massive body, though that theory has fallen out of favor. Still, it remains one of the great puzzles of paleontology. How did such a massive creature survive with such a tiny brain? Stegosaurus wasn't a predator, it was a plant eater, grazing on low-lying ferns, cycads, and mosses. With its small, flat teeth, it stripped leaves rather than crushed them. It likely moved in groups, using numbers and armor for safety. But it wasn't safe from danger. Allosaurus, a massive predator, stalked the same lands. And while Stegosaurus might not have been fast, it was deadly when cornered. its tail turning into a bone-crushing sledgehammer. When Stegosaurus vanished about 145 million years ago, it left behind fossils that still spark debate today. Was it a walking solar panel, a showpiece to attract mates, or just one of nature's most creative defense systems? So the next time you see an image of Stegosaurus, remember, it wasn't just a slow, plant-eating dinosaur. It was a spiked warrior, a walking riddle, and one of nature's most unforgettable creations. Picture this: a sleek, feathered predator, no taller than a turkey, stalking through the deserts of Cretaceous Mongolia. Alone, it might not scare you, but in a pack, with razor-sharp claws and a brain built for teamwork, this hunter could take down giants. Not a movie monster, this was the real Velociraptor, one of the most cunning dinosaurs ever to live. Velociraptor was no towering beast. At just over 2 feet tall and about 6 feet long, it was closer in size to a big dog. But don't be fooled. Its weapon wasn't size. It was speed, smarts, and claws. On each foot, Velociraptor carried a curved, sickle-shaped claw over 3 inches long, designed to slash, grip, and disembowel prey. Combined with a lightweight body and long tail for balance, this dinosaur was built like a perfect sprinting assassin. Here's what made Velociraptor terrifying. It wasn't a solo act. Evidence suggests they hunted in packs, working together to ambush prey. Imagine being a Protoceratops grazing peacefully. Suddenly, one raptor distracts you, while another leaps from the side, claws first. That hooked talon wasn't just for show. It could tear through flesh like a knife. In the Cretaceous, brains often beat brawn. And Velociraptor played the long game, strategy over sheer strength. Velociraptor's skull tells another story: intelligence. Its brain was large for its body size, and its forward-facing eyes gave it binocular vision, perfect for depth perception while hunting. Think less dumb lizard and more prehistoric wolf pack. Agile, observant, calculating. Hollywood may have made them bigger in Jurassic Park, but the truth is just as scary. They didn't need size when they had teamwork and speed. Still, even Velociraptor wasn't invincible. Fossils show them locked in combat with Protoceratops, their claws buried in their prey even as they were crushed in return. Life in the late Cretaceous was brutal, a constant struggle between hunter and hunting, and Velociraptor thrived in it. Velociraptor disappeared 66 million years ago, lost in the asteroid impact that ended the age of dinosaurs. But its legacy never died. Its fossils inspired books, movies, and the terrifying raptors of pop culture. Sure, Hollywood made them bigger, but the reality is even cooler. A small, feathered hunter that proved brains, speed, and claws could rival even the largest predators. So, was Velociraptor the deadliest dinosaur? Not in size, but in intelligence and strategy. It was unmatched. The Cretaceous ultimate brainy assassin, with claws sharp enough to end you in seconds. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to stare down an armored giant? Not a predator with claws and teeth, but a living tank armed with spears and a shield of bone. Imagine the ground trembling as a creature the size of a truck storms forward, 3 deadly horns aimed right at you, its massive frill raised like a battle banner. This was Triceratops, the horned titan of the late Cretaceous. 68 million years ago, in what is now North America, the plains thundered with herds of Triceratops. Growing nearly 30 feet long and weighing over 10 tons, this herbivore was no gentle grazer. It was a warrior built for survival. With 2 horns stretching up to 3 feet long above its eyes and a deadly 3rd horn on its nose, Triceratops could deliver a charge strong enough to impale predators, even the mighty Tyrannosaurus Rex. Its broad frill, made of solid bone, wasn't just decoration. It was a shield, protecting its neck and vital arteries from devastating bites. Triceratops was more than a plant eater. It was a fortress on legs. But what truly makes Triceratops legendary is its battles. Fossil evidence shows bite marks from T-Rex on Triceratops' skulls, and in some cases, healed wounds. This means they survived attacks, fought back, and lived to see another day. Imagine the scene. A T-Rex lunging with bone-crushing jaws, only to be met by the lowered horns of Triceratops, a clash of titans echoing across the ancient plains. Paleontologists believe Triceratops could run up to 20 miles per hour, a terrifying speed when paired with its horns. To a predator, this wasn't prey. It was a gamble, one that could end with broken ribs or death. Triceratops likely didn't fight alone. Fossils suggest they moved in herds, where adults could form defensive circles around the young, horns outward, a wall of deadly spikes ready to repel any attack. In this way, they weren't just survivors. They were protectors, creatures whose strength came not just from their weapons, but from their unity. For predators, facing a herd of Triceratops meant certain disaster. One mistake, one wrong step, and they'd be skewered before they could retreat. Yet even this titan couldn't survive forever. When the asteroid struck 66 million years ago, darkness covered the skies. Plants died, ecosystems collapsed, and even the armored fortress of Triceratops fell silent. Its horns, once sharp and deadly, became buried in the sands of time, waiting for discovery. And discover them we did. Giant skulls, massive frills, and horns that even today inspire awe. Fossil after fossil reminds us that this was not just another dinosaur. It was the Cretaceous defender, the last stand against predators in a world about to vanish. Triceratops didn't just disappear, it became immortal. Museums display its towering skulls, children clutch toy versions of it, and in films, it often battles T-Rex in scenes echoing the struggles of prehistory. Even though it was an herbivore, Triceratops embodies the spirit of strength, resilience, and survival. So, next time you see an image of Triceratops, remember, this wasn't a gentle plant eater hiding in the shadows. It was a horned warrior, a titan of the Cretaceous, a defender who stood its ground against the deadliest predators the Earth has ever known. You think you know T-Rex, right? Big teeth, tiny arms, Jurassic Park's favorite monster. But what if I told you the real T-Rex was stranger, scarier, and more complicated than the Hollywood version? Tyrannosaurus Rex, the king in shadow. Let's start with what you already know. T-Rex was massive, over 40 feet long, 12 feet tall at the hips, and weighing up to 9 tons. That's like putting a bus on legs and giving it bone-crushing jaws. And those jaws, stronger than any animal in history. One bite could crush a car. So yeah, apex predator, nightmare fuel. Easy. But here's the twist. Not everyone agrees that T-Rex was just a hunter. Some scientists think it was also a scavenger, lurking in the shadows, stealing kills from smaller predators, or gorging on rotting corpses. That's where the king in shadow idea comes in. Picture this. You're a hadrosaur, peacefully munching plants. Then the ground shakes. A shadow falls. You hear nothing, but suddenly, snap! Your spine is crushed. Your world goes black. That was the ambush side of T-Rex. Its forward-facing eyes gave it killer depth perception. Its nose could smell prey from miles away, better than a bloodhound. And when it ran, maybe not super fast, but fast enough to catch you. Because really, if you see a 9-ton murder machine running at you, do you care if it's doing 15 miles per hour or 20? You're already dead. But here's the creepy part. T-Rex didn't need to chase you down. It could follow the scent of death. Imagine you're another predator, finally taking down a Triceratops after hours of fighting. You're exhausted, bleeding, ready to feast. Then from the tree line, a shadow emerges. It's T-Rex. do you fight? Number you leave. Because one bite from that thing and you're paste. T-Rex didn't just hunt. It stole, it loomed, it dominated. The king didn't need to play fair. Okay, let's talk about the arms. Yeah, they were tiny, hilariously tiny. But here's the thing, each arm was still about the size of a grown man, and they had claws sharp enough to gut you. So, maybe not useless, just weird. It's like nature designed the world's deadliest predator, then got bored halfway through and said, "Hey, give him baby arms, it'll be funny." But even kings can't rule forever. 66 million years ago, the sky burned, the earth shook, and the dinosaurs died. The mighty T-Rex, the Shadow King, was gone in an instant. Well, not entirely gone, because every crow you see, every eagle overhead, that's T-Rex's legacy. Birds are dinosaurs, and the king still lives on, just with feathers and less attitude. So, was T-Rex a hunter, a scavenger, a shadowy king who did both? The truth is, it didn't matter, because when T-Rex showed up, you weren't thinking about science. You were thinking, oh no, I'm dead. From the bizarre Therizinosaurus with claws like scythes, to the unstoppable power of T-Rex, these prehistoric beasts show us just how diverse, deadly, and downright weird evolution could be. Which dinosaur fascinated you the most? The spiked Stegosaurus, the horned Triceratops, or the king himself? Let me know in the comments. And if you loved this journey back in time, hit that like button, subscribe, and join us again as we uncover more incredible secrets from the age of monsters.